What's up, guys? Welcome to the WingersWorldwide studios. My name is Vermon Seidel, and today we're going to be taking you on how we produce music at our studio. I happen to be the founder here at WingersWorldwide. We have many artists, and in today's video, we got a special request from Untitled, who's a very good friend of mine from Estonia. We've worked together in the past. Actually, we did the song Elevation together while I was still in Estonia. And he reached out to me so that we could see what else we can cook up. And my friends, we have something special for you today. Yes, you can follow us at WingersWorldwide on Instagram and on YouTube. We have plenty of music there and we release new music basically every week. And we also offer other different services, like for example, graphics design, video production. We are an all-house suite for providing branding. I guess now we can get into the process of how we start making music. Basically the entire process from point A to point B.
We gotta know ya, no paranoia. All of Estonia, we gotta know ya, no paranoia. Coming to this town, yeah, we gotta know ya.
So now we're gonna talk about setting up the project and basically what we do once we want to prepare the song for production. I usually use Studio One. It's our DAW of choice. There are various other DAWs. I'm actually quite conversant with FL Studio, with Ableton, among other DAWs, even Cubase and Logic. But we choose to use Studio One because it's very well integrated with the mixing and mastering, and they keep adding improvements to the workflow of how we produce our music. Okay, so once we get a beat, like now we got a 2-track instrumental from Alan Tukmachev. This is it here. So load the track into the project, and then we basically set up the tracks that we're going to use for the recording. But I like to use templates. I usually have templates set in the project because it saves me a lot of time. Once we load the track into the project, we usually also look for the BPM of the track. Beats per minute, that's the speed of the track. And I usually use a very nice tool here called the BPM counter. It looks something like this. Yeah, all you need to do is tap on it, tap, tap, tap. So I'll give you an example. Yeah. So right now it was 70 BPM. I'm also quite very nitpicky about my file organization, which means that the way that I've organized my files and the files of every artist wants to create music is very clear in such a way that other artists within the studio can find their work. It's very important. We also have various roles within the studio. Roles like recording engineer, mix and mastering engineer. Yeah.
This is Chris Murky or Chris Murky. This is headquarters at WingersWorldwide Studios. I'm actually many things. I'm an editor, I'm a producer, right now I'm an engineer, still practicing. So many things, content creator. And today I'm going to talk about how we create ideas, or what we call ideation. Ideation is simply creating ideas. When coming up with a song, we have various forms which we use. One of them is like freestyling. Yeah, just something simple. Then you write down, maybe on your phone or just like a notepad. Then after creating now the ideas, just hit the red button and start recording. Yeah, and you're good to go. How we come up with hooks is like sing. I'll give you an example.
Nice. It's very dope, very dope.
Yeah, we gotta get it. No ain't no stopping. Flying to leveling. It's time to kill it. We've been here so damn long, man. We gotta win this. Yeah.
We gotta win it.
Yeah. We gotta win. Once we come up with a hook, now we come up with a verse, whereby now a specific artist may put their verse on the track.
Pressure, but I ain't gonna fold. Calm with contestants. You're going back with your head looking down, keep it on the low.
So once we come up with a verse, we record or play back the song again and now fix the bad part. Once we fix the bad parts, now and after playing it back, we make sure that now the verse is pretty good and it's good. It's good to go.
My polka dot socks. What you mean, man? I be there, man. I'ma put your girl in a box. I don't got a flex to get I'm boss. Back to back, we get it. Every day we gon' get it. Mean that we be coming through to your time, yeah, we gon' get it in the zone.
Okay, so right now we're gonna get into actually recording the track, and follow us closely and see how we're gonna put together something hella dope. Yeah. Alright, so before recording we usually check a couple of things. So for one, we make sure that the gain on the microphone is not too high, because when an artist is recording, the vocal might clip the channel. So what is clipping? Clipping is when the audio signal or the audio coming into the track goes above 0. So what that does is it causes distortion. Normally you see that as red in the channel, usually somewhere about here when you're recording the track. Additionally, when we are recording, we usually make sure that the artist has his headphones on, and that he's like 5 millimeters away from the microphone. Our microphone setup has a pop filter, and a pop filter is what is usually used to prevent air from hitting the microphone directly. Normally this can be heard in the recording as P's or B's, like p, b, p, b. Yeah, and that doesn't really sound nice in the recording. Yeah. So alright, so we're gonna start by freestyling, and basically we're gonna have some of the artists get into the booth and record their verses. So this process usually takes about 15 minutes to an hour, because every artist has to come up with cool lines for them to say in the song. And this is how it looks like.
101 niggas are dead and gone. See you so soon. Mic check 1 2. Mimi roll no question. Stuck in no wife, no pressure. I'm taking a base statics. See mama in the game. Monkey she saying no more.
So in this part of the process, I'm gonna get in and I'm going to record a verse. Yeah, so stay tuned.
Yep.
It's been a minute since we've been in a studio. Yeah! Came straight out the gutter, my nigga. But still in the sun, I be shining, my nigga. They tried to say I'm slow. They tried to say that I can never go and show you niggas how to blow. Now we're gonna get into the chorus and the different sections like the ad-libs and additional effects to make the vocal interesting. So that means that the artist has to get in the booth and just listen to his existing recording, which is a verse, and add those complementing sound effects. Okay guys, so this is the phase where I add my harmonies to the track. I'm going to do a couple of takes. So yeah, let's get in the booth. Come and shake it, try to stop it.
You forget, most of your niggas who bought making my moves Europe, shilling in a Europe. Kenya Mayolo soon, labels Apollo my neck, all of Estonia.
So I guess that's pretty much it about recording. Yeah, so the next section that we're gonna go is mixing and mastering. Okay, so as you see, we've been able to successfully capture the verses, the choruses, and the ad-libs in the track. Now we're gonna get to the most interesting part, which is mixing. And in mixing, we're gonna do a couple of things. So what is mixing? Mixing is a process of combining different audio recordings within a multi-track recording and get them to blend together. Mixing involves various other things. Our workflow basically means that we have a certain process that we follow every time. We start by doing something called gain staging. So gain staging is a process of adjusting the volumes in the track so that at base the track sounds well balanced, and that, you know, there is nothing that is clipping or there is nothing that's too low. Cool. So once we do that, we also move to something called panning, which means that we move some of the audio recordings, pan them from left to right. Once we're done with that, then we go to the other interesting phase, which is adding effects. We know them as compression, equalization, reverb, delay, to make audio recordings more interesting. So once we have that set up, this is the part where we do correction of things like the background noises. So normally sometimes if we're in such a room, we usually have some noise that leaks into the recording. In the events when I'm not really able to clean out the audio, what I usually do is I export the audio and I get it into Audacity. So what Audacity usually does is I'm able to remove the noise using an effect or a process called noise removal. That way you can be able to get our mixing sessions usually take anywhere between 1 to 3 hours. We like to separate the process of recording and mixing and mastering also. So what is the process of mastering? So the process of mastering is where we kind of glue everything together and now you get the final super loud track. Usually also do mastering within the same project. That once we get the mix, which is normally at around -6 dB, now we take the track and we add a limiter to it and a compressor so that we can expand the volume of the track. Normally bounce one version of the master track and then we listen to it like it has already been mastered, and then from there we can be able to fix the problems going forward. Okay guys, so now we're gonna talk about a couple of things. We're gonna look at the equipment that we use in the studio and also how we manage our time. Time management is very important, and how we normally organize our sessions. So to start with, I'm gonna talk about how we classify and organize our different sessions. So we usually have different types of sessions. We have some for recording, which means that someone comes with an already existing beat, come with just an idea, and they may like to either record with an instrument, maybe like a guitar, So in that session we just record. We have other sessions like mixing and mastering, which once we have the recorded vocals and the recorded files, we now have a special session where we sit down and we mix the vocals and the audio and we master it. We also have other different sessions like beat making sessions, like voiceover sessions. We have different types of clients who come to the studio, so we manage them differently. Anyway, getting to the equipment that we use, I've been in production for the last 6 years now. Like I mentioned, the software that we use is usually Studio One. I really love Persona's products. When I first bought Studio One, actually I did a lot of research before I decided that I'd like to invest in this store. I actually paid for it, and I would recommend for you to pay for it. Once you pay for it, it's very advantageous because you can be able to get updates, and you also support the Personas team so that they can be able to continue doing such a good job. So in my studio setup, as you can see, this is HP Touch Smart laptop. This laptop is equipped with 8 GB of RAM, and I also have a Core i7, which is a 4th generation Core i7. This laptop also has an SSD hard drive, which is very good for saving your sessions and being able to work with your DAW a lot faster. Most of the times your software is slow because the storage that you have is very slow, especially if you're using a physical rotation type of a drive, a 3600 RPM or a 7200 RPM drive. But I use a Samsung Evo hard drive, which is 1 terabyte, and it serves me really well. Going over to the speakers, as you can see, I like to use KRK's Rocket 5 monitors. I wouldn't recommend you to use bigger monitors because you don't really need them if you're producing in a small home studio. These are very adequate. As you can see, my room isn't padded very much, but the cushions in the house, the carpet normally absorbs most of the bass. So when we are mixing, we usually make sure that, at least we've deadened that reflections of the wall. Additionally, when you're pointing the speakers, they have to be in a triangle kind of a format so that the sound itself gets to the producer himself. Going on to the interface, we use Persona's Audiobox USB interface. It's a very small interface. The interface has 2 channels here. Here we can be able to plug in a microphone and an instrument, for example a guitar, or another microphone for another artist. This specific audio box comes packaged already with a condenser microphone. We have ourselves a microphone stand there, our pop filter, our condenser microphone. Within the booth you can see we've padded the booth. This is so that we can kind of kill the reflections that we get by dressing our room with towels, bed sheets. I would say they are a little bit effective, but essentially our goal in the future is to open up a dedicated booth so that we can record clean audio. Alright, let's also look at the keyboard that I have here. So this is an M Audio Key Station 49. This is a USB powered keyboard. All you need to do is plug it into your laptop and voila, you get into your DAW and you'll be able to set it up. Yeah, you can be able to connect it and you can use it to play different keys, especially when you're producing beats. I really like it because this specific keyboard comes with pressure sensitive keys, which means that when you press the key, the pressure varies based on how you press it. If you press it hard, the note would go like ding 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 ding. Let me give you an example. Pressure sensitive. Also, let's look at the studio monitoring headphones. They are special headphones that have been designed to give you more dynamics, which means you're able to hear the highs, the mids and the lows. And they are actually very convenient if you do not have KRK monitors like this. You're able to mix with these ones. These are a little bit more expensive than your average headphones, and in fact you'd find that the bass is actually flat. It's not like your typical Dr. Dre headphones which have bass added to them. Okay, so Alan told me that I should give some advice for beginners. The first piece of advice I can give is that you do not need expensive gear. The most important thing you need first is to acquire your skill. So if I give you a little history of myself, I started actually producing music with Audacity. I used to think people use Audacity. So from there I learned how to use all the various tools, the compressor, the reverb, and the various effects that you have there. You just need a laptop, a simple USB interface, and you can start your recording. But obviously as you develop yourself, once you develop your skills, you can now keep improving yourself by adding small pieces of gear. You can only learn this gear one at a time. Don't force yourself to learn so many things or so many expensive things at the same time. Okay, secondly, don't wait till you're perfect to share your work. Start by sharing whatever you create with your friends. A lot of people I know shy away by creating music and they hide it, or they only share with a few people. You know, you're not gonna go very far if you don't get feedback from the fans. Number 3, treat this like a career and everyone with respect. It's very important that you remember all of us are trying to make a career out of music production. So you don't have to have a big ego when you go to the studio. Okay, everyone is out here to work, fine. If you're an artist, you're there to record your music. If you're a producer, you're there to serve an artist. And that relationship is very important. We treat everyone with respect. Okay, number 4, don't rush your production. Give your music time for fresh ears. I see a lot of people recording their tracks and releasing the track within the same day. The problem with that is that you may not really give your the music a chance for you to hear the small mistakes within the track. I personally take sometimes even a week between my mixing and mastering sessions. This is so that I can approach the mix with fresh ears. Sometimes you may find that you may have added a little bit of too much EQ on a vocal, or you may have overdone the reverb. At the time when you are mixing it the first time, you might have really liked it because when you overprocess your mind or you overload your mind with information, it tries to smoothen it out. But when you have fresh ears, you're immediately able to identify what the problem is. Lastly, own your uniqueness and give it your best. a lot of the times people, I see them copying other artists without accepting or owning their own originality. It's very important to own your originality, because when it comes to people listening to you and identifying you in the marketplace, you can't sound like everyone. Imagine if you sound like Drake. Thank you for taking the time to stop by and watch this video. I hope that we've been able to provide you with enough information about how to get started in your career. Music production is a really fun career. I really love it, and I've been doing it. I make an actual living from producing, and I believe you can do too if you take it a little bit serious. Yeah, so please visit us at www.WingersWorldwide.com. From there you can be able to find our music, you can be able to reach out to us, we can support you in your journey as an artist and as a music producer. We also love collaborating. We collaborate with different producers around the world, and that's how I even got to know Alan, man. Salute, bro. Until we come to Estonia, man, this is what we made for you.
Making my moves, Europe, shilling in a Euro. Kenya Mayolo, Zoom, it was Apollo Money, yeah, all of Estonia. We gonna know ya, no paranoia, yeah, all of Estonia.
You can follow us at WingersWorldwide on Instagram and on YouTube. We have plenty of music there, and we release new music basically every week. And we also offer other different services, like for example graphics design, video production. We are an all-house suite for providing branding.
Okay, just want to say it's we look forward as the Wingers fraternity to work with you even back in Europe. Be our first time visiting, by the way, maybe someday. But appreciate so much. Make use of the information that we've shown you, and you go as far as we have gone, and we'll still be going further ahead. See you next time. Peace out.